Hello, guys and gals, me Mutahar, and welcome back to another episode of the old deep web browsing, ladies and gentlemen. Now, last I checked, the previous episode was actually titled 210, when really I think I was at episode 237, 238. So I've since corrected the name, and one of the things that I kind of want to do with dark web browsing is I want to actually go all the way up to episode 300. So I think we're just going to reboot and go in all the way and, probably go to making this weekly. It's one of my pledges to really go back to that OG content. So I played, some of that Lunchly horror stuff here, LSD Dream Emulator, hopefully in good old virtual reality sometime next week. And then obviously amongst my commentary stuff, just kind of be diverse again, ladies and gentlemen. So this week, the whole, fun of the dark web is I'm going to kind of intermingle some of the other, relays. So we might be looking at things like I2P, standard deep web stuff, obscure websites, kind of intermingle everything just to keep things nice, fun, and diverse on the series, right? One of the reasons why deep web really took that hiatus was because once you see like one Hitman website, you pretty much seen them all. So, general rule of watching the series, make sure to grab yourself a nice drink, maybe some cocoa, coffee, beer, a nice hot cup of cum, so on and so forth. And let's go to the first website. Ooh, a hitman came to kill Susan Kuhnhausen. She survived. He didn't. 10 years later, she tells her story. A while back, a man paid a hitman 50 grand to kill his wife, Susan Kuhnhausen, with a hammer, and make it look like a robbery gone wrong. When the hitman turned up and attacked her, Susan managed to... I hate how every single part of this sentence is like capitalized. It's written by a Discord mod somewhere, dude. To strangle and eventually kill the hitman. A hitman implies a professional killer, which implies some expertise. This was just a thug with a hammer. A hitman from our agency would have double tapped her in the head, given a couple more in the head, and... double tapped her in the chest, given her a couple more in the head, and that would have been all for Susan. Commented Johnny, founding member of the Wetwork Contract Killing Association. So apparently this is an entire article, which, let's look at what happened with Susan Kuhnhausen, okay? So let's, Susan Kuhnhausen. Being an operating room nurse is tough. Susan Kuhnhausen knows this too well. She's been doing it for 30 years. So what had happened was, apparently, this guy was lurking in her kitchen. So if it wasn't bad enough that this unkempt lunatic was merely inside her house, 2 seconds after she noticed him, he ran up and cracked her in the head with a claw hammer. Jesus. This is where the story would have ended for most of us. Yeah, if you stuck a claw hammer into my head, I'm dead, dude. I'm seeing God. You see, this guy, Ed Haffey, was a hitman hired by Susan's estranged husband to bash her skull in with a hammer until he stopped breathing. Wow, dude. This guy looks like the dude the Hell's Angels like make fun of or something. Like he shows up to the clubhouse and they're like, "Oh man, look at that pumpkin." They all just take turns pissing on him, bro. He looks like a total idiot. And from what I understand, he's out. Like he's gone. So yeah, she went. Susan wins badass of the week, bro. She's not only a nurse, but like she's got a. If she must take a life, she will. So hire a hitman. So here it is. So Johnny Admin. So let's check out this hitman website. Let's go. So this takes us to Johnny Admin, online hitman community manager. Okay, so cash associated with detailing intelligence gathering, planning, and executing of operations, targeting verified preds. Oh, dude, Diddler's getting hit? No way, dude. So experience unparalleled security and confidentiality with our premier physical removal services. So you've got a Beretta, you've got what appears to be a suppressor attached to the end of it. I'm going to be level with you, okay? This is a scammer or a federal agent, okay? And look, I know you guys will be like, a source for that? Dude, 99.9% of the sites are like that, okay? On the internet, on the deep web, okay? This is all just like people getting scammed. Some guy gives them money and they end up getting scammed. So then you go over here, operating exclusively on the darknet. We maintain a discreet reputation and control over our presence. So you've got smoke grenades, you've got magazines, different calibers, shotgun shells, crazy stuff, dude. Crazy, crazy shit. Our communications are fully encrypted and anonymous using Tor-rooted methods. Rest assured, we will never request your personal information. Ooh, dude's got a nice rifle over there. I appreciate it. We prioritize your peace of mind by requiring no upfront payments, ensuring that your risk of being scammed is effectively eliminated. So you don't give them any payment upfront. Okay, it also doesn't make sense if you're running a criminal enterprise, because somebody could, imagine going through with a crime like this and then just not like getting paid. What? So apparently their crime start at $5,000 and can scale beyond 100,000 based on the complexity. So here they even showed like how they have ricin manufactured from castor beans. So ricin, for those of you who don't know, if you ever watch Breaking Bad, there's like a whole episode about like Walter White putting together ricin so they can like poison one of the cartel guys. I think it was Tuco. And what it is like, I believe ricin is one of those poisons, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is like if somebody dies from it, I believe, unless the medical staff know what they're looking for, it just registers as a heart failure, right? Or like somebody gets some crazy sickness and dies from it. But this is like really controlled by the federal government. Like I believe if you look up like ricin FBI, it's like you will literally get like 16 years for attempting to purchase any of this stuff too. And literally in this situation, like the feds talk about it. Like in a scary scenario, Chinese national Shang Li, living in New York City, attempted to order ricin from the so-called dark web. I wonder if this is like right here, dude, right here. While on a particular dark web marketplace, Lee asked, "This might sound blunt, but do you sell ricin?" Fortunately, an individual at the computer on the other end was not a trafficker in lethal poisons. Instead, it was an undercover Federal Bureau of... What a dumbass, dude! This is the messages they sent around. If the ricin's good quality, I've already had buyers lining up. Does ricin have an antidote? Last I checked, there isn't one. Jesus Christ, dude. This guy's just speaking to a Fed the entire time, bro. What a dumbass. And I hope he rots 16 years in prison there. It's worth. I mean, literally, why would you need to buy ricin, okay? Unless you're doing some terrible things with it. So this is where you can really get into the scam side of it. So they've got a sponsor, the next PDF file. Okay, hit. So Johnny welcomes and appreciates any donations you wish to make. The aid is dedicated to funding the free monthly operation targeting a verified pred. Now, to give you an idea, donations help cover the costs associated with detailed intelligence gathering, planning, and execution of operations targeting verified P-words. So suggesting a verified word over here, so it takes you to like their contact address, and then they've got a QR code with a Monero wallet attached. Now here's the thing. This is how you know it's a scam. Because first off, it's not as if, like, obviously, I think because of the media and like general like an increase of intelligence in regards to the dark web over the years, not many people are going to be paying money to like commit a fucking murder on the deep web like that. So what they've done is they've played on the emotional attachment. Because here's the thing, no matter who you are, there's an intense dislike for people that harm children, as there should be. So what happened is this scammer is smart enough to, take advantage of that and make a site that says, hey, you can give like $10, $100, $1,000, $10,000, and it goes towards putting sick people in front of God. And do I think that this is No, it's not. It's running on Monero. It's nearly impossible to trace, okay? There's a good chance this is either a Discord scammer or in a great scenario, it's just a federal agent who's just honeypotting people to go over here and just get scammed and arrested. Like, goddamn, it's crazy shit. I mean, you can tell this dude is like a scammer because you go to like Johnny's website and like quite literally, he's got literal like Agent 47 on the side over here. Like, there's no way this is ever legitimate, bro. This is not real stuff. All right, and I mean, shit, to add to the scam, it's like, yeah, we also sell weapons as well, too. It's a real one-stop shop for criminality, boys. You want a 6 sour and a shot to the head on... There you go. So, again, I have to preface this by saying, ladies and gentlemen, this is a scam, okay? All of this is a scam. If you fall for this, you're an idiot, and you deserve to go to jail. So here they show flawless hitman job. Police have released a 22-second videos of a suspect in the murders of Toronto billionaires Barry and Honey Sherman in 2017 in hopes someone can help. So Barry and Honey Sherman were killed in their Toronto home. There was no sign of forced entry, very little DNA evidence, and the couple were found after 36 hours after their death. So, to be fair, the Sherman murders were anything but straightforward. Although it appeared the Shermans were the victims of a targeted hit, the exact way they were killed, strangled instead of shot, felt personal. So, police released video footage of what could be the killer on the way to a scene of his crime. In the video, there's snow on the ground and all else appears quiet on the residential street not far from the Sherman home, where the man was captured with security camera footage walking down the sidewalk. Sometime later, police say the camera spotted the man again walking back the way he came. The way the mysterious man appears in the Sherman neighborhood, leaves, and then seems to fall off the radar, has helped feed a common theory that he could have been a contract killer from overseas. So again, it's just more news. Are they trying to take claim of this attack real quick? Why do they got Pedo Bear over here? This is crazy shit. Bro, what a scam, bro! Suspect in killing's top-ranked hitman member of Johnny Wetwork, CNN. That's the guy walking away. Could have just been random garbage. You know, out of all the Hitman websites I've seen, this one might be the most thought-out scam I've seen. Now, that also said, ladies and gentlemen, there's not much more to go off with. This is clearly a scam. And look, if I end up with 2 shots in my chest and a few in the head, then maybe that's your signification that this isn't a scam or a federal agent. It might even turn out to be a real assassin. My demise may prove it. Remember, guys, I don't know. I feel like if I ever piss somebody off in this case, they might just shoot me in the head to prove that they're a legitimate business. But I don't think they're legit. And if they are, well, I guess I'm seeing God. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the next website. Oh, hell yeah, in defense of cannibalism. Well, we're already getting demonetized off the bat, boys. Let me tell you right now. So date 12/27/2018 is when they've apparently gotten their actual date written here. So this is by Alsonia Calabrese, okay? So this is the Anarchist Library. Now, to give you guys an understanding of the Anarchist Library, so to speak, this is effectively like a whole library you can go to basically read a whole bunch of stuff if you want, right? So you've got things like messing up elections, okay? Not, probably something that I shouldn't be sharing, just because that could get me into some serious trouble. Building your own solidarity network. Are these bubbles Antichrist? Oh my God, I might actually have to read about bubbles being, oh sorry, not Antichrist, anarchist. Why did I jump there? That's crazy. And of course, the more and more you go into it, this is literally just an entire library for stuff that probably, the people writing this, probably would end up on an actual watch list, okay? All right, I'm sure I'm on a watch list, okay? I'm reading about, weapons and bubbles being anarchists and about cannibalism being defended. Let's read about cannibalism, okay? In the Aztec Empire, before colonization, during the festival celebrating the spring equinox, a captured slave would be flayed alive. His skin, detached from his body, was worn by an Aztec priest in the rite of Neteotihuatzin, okay, interesting, in which he became a living embodiment of Zype Totec, the flayed lord in the months leading up to the slave sacrifice. He was also recognized as the living image of Zype Totec. The skin would be cast off after 20 days, and it was believed to carry magical powers. Interesting. Zype Totec was a fertility god. He was a representation of the life cycle of the maize plant, the single most important shape of the Mesoamerican diet, or staple, and the substance from which the gods made human beings is the epic Popol Vuh. Interesting how he's like a fertility god, and then it's like, you gotta give a human sacrifice. You gotta take a life, I guess, in order to make one, okay? Crazy shit. So to go down over here, 225 years before the founding of the Aztec Triple Alliance, in 1325, the foreskin of oh, Jesus Christ. God, what? Was allegedly bought in Israel by Baldwin I, a king in the Crusader state of Jerusalem. Like the phallic skin of the flayed lord, the holy prepuce... No, this is not real, dude. This can't be... Hold on, let me... Let me do the fact check here, okay? Let me get a little fact check going on. Foreskin. Okay, probably should put on probably should put on something like incognito mode, just in case, okay? Just in case. Incognito mode, foreskin of Jesus Christ. Sometimes you wonder, like, why would one ever Google something like that? And only because of me, I sometimes I do it. So this is apparently the real thing, the holy prepuce. Okay, we're gonna have to censor some of this stuff. Is one of the several relics attributed to Jesus, consisting of the foreskin removed during the circumcision of Jesus. At various points in history, a number of churches in Europe have claimed to possess the prepuce, sometimes at the same time. You know, I really don't understand how that even came to be. Like, I get it's Jesus, but, like, wasn't... Wouldn't that be something that would be thrown away? Like, wouldn't this be far before Jesus was ever, like, you know, Jesus? Why? Why would people claim to have it? It's insane. Okay, anyways, this is apparently like a pretty massive relic. Did not know about this until today, by the way. Relics are important in an economic sense as well. They brought pilgrims to the community surrounding the church who needed a place to rest and be fed, and offerings left the altars provided a direct source of income for the clergy, despite being specifically prohibited in the 10th century. Okay. Chapter 3. As a remnant of the Norman conquest, English serves as a Latinate and a Germanic word for most animals, where the Latinate form generally refers to as a food prepared of the animal. Created several unique situations. Okay. Chapter 4. In man-eating, the West suffers from this sort of alienation. The human body is a source for many products in wide use today, from foreskin fibroblasts in cosmetics to the lucrative and sometimes illicit trade in human organs. The sale of human plasma harvested from living subjects is a growing industry. With the invention of new forms of biotechnology, even genetic code is bought, sold, and traded, even subpoenaed for use in federal cases. In a less literal sense, human personalities are rendered into data banks, raked in from social media, where the true profit lies, ads and algorithms. Actually, this whole page seems to be a little bit more forward thinking, but this is where it's kind of like, this is where you kind of lose me a little bit. So when they're talking about like wide stuff, like obviously, you know, getting out of the defense of cannibalism for a second, obviously we as human beings agree that the human slave trade is bad because, you know, people who are unfortunately, you know, trading human organs might eventually end up treating human beings like cattle, kidnapping them, and using them literally as a source of money, you know, just pits in general. Obviously, the illegality of it can be, you know, intermixed with the cruelty that human beings can display. But okay, let's move on a little bit. Then they talk about selling human plasma, okay? Harvested from living subjects is a growing industry with the invention of new forms of biotechnology, right? So plasma, blood, and cum that is sold sometimes or donated, dude, that shit can save lives. Like, I wouldn't even say that's cannibalism. Like, if you can donate blood, you probably should, okay? There's people in hospitals that might just need it after a surgery. Like, god damn. All right, not all of these things are the same. Then they talk about, like, obviously, like, human personalities are rendered in a data bank. So, yeah, I would imagine, like, big AI companies probably would pay for stacks of data just to build, like, human, like, sounding AI. Like, one of the things that I was reading into, and I might just edit the article in, or I might actually talk about it this week in general, is if you remember, right, like, at all, there was a moment, like, not remember, there's, like, this article where, like, I think it was the Pentagon was trying to fund, like, chatbots to be more realistic. And I don't know if that's like, you know, Metal Gear Solid 2 just becoming more reality. But it's like the whole dead internet theory. It's like the idea of like, hey, human beings create these things out of their soul, out of their mind, out of their consciousness, and sometimes physically out of their body, like blood. And it's just kind of being traded on an open market, right? Like in some ways, there's a lot of that flesh market that exists in many ways. And that's kind of what they're relating to here. But again, to tie it back to cannibalism, crystallized as taboo, the essential aspect of consumption is preserved and precisely why it is stigmatized. The human personality is raised as sacred, and thus its slaughter and ingestions lowered as profane. The practice of eating one's family member is unthinkable, but it remains quite common in some parts of, say, Papua New Guinea. Okay, are we talking about like, hold on a minute. Are we talking about like maybe there's like, you know, a tribe or something in like parts of the world where they haven't connected to society or integrated with the greater broad human like diaspora? And it's just like literally a tribe, like a culture that just hasn't caught up. Because yeah, I'm sure cannibalism is practiced in like the deep recesses of like the fucking African jungle. But I'm sure it's not practiced in like New York or like Toronto or Los Angeles or London or Paris or Mumbai or something. Maybe it is to an extent, but not generally, okay? I think most human beings agree eating people is not okay. To conclude, cannibalism perhaps the only form of subsistence that retains a certain sacred connection to that which is being eaten. Okay, I'm gonna fucking stop right here, okay? Like at the end of the day, I think it's not so much there's probably physical reasons why you shouldn't be eating people, okay? One of them probably being that diseases would spread like crazy. I think there's like a version of mad cow disease or something. And again, please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm kind of speaking from a bit of tiredness here and like working with offhand information. You probably shouldn't be eating human beings. There's like a real medical issue with like, of course, consistent consumption of human beings in terms of diseases that you will end up getting, right? The other thing is nobody wants to eat something that has like a proper soul to it, you know, like somebody that actually had like a consciousness at one point, even like a family member. It's just insane to like kind of defend cannibalism like this. It's almost like this is written from like the perspective of like a fucking contrarian, you know? Like there's just some things that human beings agree are bad, okay? And I think eating people generally, okay, most people look at it as bad, all right? Very bad. Goddamn. 12 things to do instead of calling the cops. Oh boy, let's go through this one, boys. Let's see. What should I do instead of call the old 50? If you see something, do something. All right, let's read this one. Calling the police often escalates situations, put people at risks, and leads to violence. Anytime you seek help from the police, you're inviting them into your community and putting people who may already be vulnerable into dangerous situations. Okay. So number 1 out of 12 things, don't feel obligated to defend property, especially corporate private property. Before confronting someone or contacting the police, ask yourself if anyone is being hurt or endangered by property theft or damage. I guess the idea would be like, yeah, sure, if I don't own something, I'm probably not inclined to protect it. But let's say like I'm a craftsman, right? Like I'm a tradesman or something of that nature, and you're stealing my tools. Then shouldn't I have to fight you? Because if you steal my tools, then you're preventing me from making a living and maybe feeding my family. You get into like wild stuff, okay? Maybe in that situation, that's what they're kind of like hinting at, okay? So don't get the cops involved, I guess. If something of yours is stolen, you need to file a report for insurance. Already stopping right there, bro. You think the insurance I don't even think about the cops in that situation. I think about, if the insurance company gonna fuck me? Are they gonna bend me over the barrel and just stick their rod right into my asshole? Maybe so. Most likely so. Number 3, if you observe someone exhibiting behavior that seems odd to you, don't assume they're publicly intoxicated. A traumatic brain injury or similar medical episode may be occurring. Now, in this situation, you know, if somebody's acting odd, I'm just staying away from it, dude. Like, unless they're like dying in front of me, then I'll probably like call an ambulance or something. But if, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, have you ever seen like public freakouts, like people fighting in like stores and shit? Like in like a McDonald's or like an Arby's or like a Popeyes or whatever. God, I love Popeyes. So good. But, you know, you start to see like a fight. I'm immediately out of that situation. I'm like a whole state line away. Like I'm in my car. I'm already driving like far away from that scenario. So my rule is I don't even think about 911. I just get out of sketchy situations like that to begin with. Number 4, if you see someone pulled over with car trouble, stop and ask if they need help. Or if you can call a tow truck for them. Honey, have you seen tow trucks? Okay. Tow trucks are worse than emergency responders. Somehow they are able to get to accidents faster than the cops. It's actually insane. But yeah, if I see somebody with car trouble, you know, if it's on like the side of a main road, I've stopped and helped out. Like you know, if I see somebody in a parking lot, you know, that can't start their car, I usually have like a battery, like a little battery pack in the back, and I'm like, you know, I'll just start it for you or something. Now, if it's in a sketchy neighborhood, I'm not going to pull over there, okay? That's begging to be fucking mugged. Keep a contact list of community resources, okay? Check your impulse to call the police or someone you believe is acting suspicious. Is their race, gender, ethnicity, class, or housing situation influencing your choice? Such calls can be death sentences for many people. It's actually kind of, you know, can be true. Yeah, it can be true. I will say. That being said, depending on how suspicious someone acts, I will probably call the cops, okay? And I won't think about all the other superfluous stuff if there is some genuine suspiciousness in there. So generally, this is actually a pretty agreeable list for the most part, right? Like it's kind of coming from the aspect of talking about conflict de-escalation. So it's like, obviously you probably don't want to get like cops involved, especially if cops in your area probably aren't the best trained for conflicts in general. Because sometimes it's like, depending on if somebody's mental state is really fucked up, having a cop there that isn't the best of trained may just end up like, exacerbating the situation. Like, a traffic situation could literally be escalated into like a fucking gun being drawn and somebody being shot because you're dealing with somebody that might not mentally be all the way there. I actually like this. Most of this list makes a lot of good sense. Again, you go down, it's like street art is beautiful. Don't report graffiti or other street artists. If you see work that includes fascistic or hate speech, paint over it. I am not committing vandalism, and I'm not promoting anybody commit vandalism over it, okay? I see shit like that in my neighborhood, I will call the cops on it, I guess. That's probably the best you can do. Or just leave. Like, just go. God damn, dude. Whew. Crazy stuff. But yeah, it's not a bad list at all, too. Some stuff I might be a little bit questioning on, but generally, solid 12 steps. That said, though, this is the Anarchist Cookbook, and you can probably assume why they use the Anarchist, like the Tor relay. Obviously, they also have like a ClearNet version as well, too. But yeah, stuff like this is posted so that, people can have like a library of stuff that would probably have them put on a watch list by any agency, just being shared around for like-minded individuals. That said, though, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to something else. Welcome to McDonald'sHamburger.com. What the... What, dude? Okay, first off, what's insane about this is like this is an actual URL. You too, ladies and gentlemen, can go to this website and be sent to a NeoCities link that takes you to this clip art website that literally takes me back to Web. Like, if you ever wanted the definition of Web 1.0, it's either the Space Jam website, which I think is still active to this day, and this. So welcome to McDonald'sHamburger.com. This website is not affiliated with McDonald's, okay? The hamburger restaurant. I have never eaten their hamburgers. This is merely a coincidence, and I am considering legal action if they do not stop harassing me about the hamburger. Here's my Instagram. Okay, so he's got an Instagram. His name is Sam Libuddy, okay? Los Angeles stand-up comedian. What? He writes for the Hard Drive News? What? Dude, that's crazy. It's like a small world. This guy has like a joke. You know what it is? This is like what they call a typo squatted website. So sometimes what happens is like, or domain squatting. So if you don't know the practice of cyber squatting, like typo squatting is actually malicious. Like sometimes you'll have like, people who take the domain name like Google's or Googlies or some variant of the word Google that's usually misspelled by one letter or two. And like, it's just designed so like if a boomer or somebody like happens to mistype Google into their browser, there's a family member, right now that literally goes to google.com first in their actual like browser bar and like searches from there. So it's designed so like, if you go to a malicious like misspelled URL, they can like distribute malware, get your computer infected. This situation is more like cyber squatting, which is like basically where, if you take advantage, like, let's say like you decided Rockstar Games, right? Like if you wanted to, for instance, get the domain address for Grand Theft Auto 7 and Rockstar didn't have it for any reason, you could just get that variants of it. And as long as you hold on to it, Rockstar might, consider paying you. But now, a lot of these companies, like if you go to GTA7.com, it actually would... Wait, it's actually available for sale? No shot, bro. What is the Roman numeral for 7? VII. No shot. GTAVII.com? Yeah, see, it goes literally to GTA 5. So it's there so that eventually when they release GTA 7 or when they start talking about it, nobody actually has it. And usually what will happen is like somebody will grab those domains and like, expect big bucks. You even see it in like social media circles, like, if Blue Sky ever overtakes Twitter and somebody has like @apple.bsky.com, Apple might consider paying them money, or at this point I'm pretty sure like Blue Sky administrators would just give the Apple handle to Apple themselves with like a verification sticker and everything. So this guy like literally it's actually insane to have the McDonald's domain address, right? One of the reasons why I spent money to get like my like Some Ordinary Gamers like domain is, remember my buddy Tyler, like back in the day when we were playing Siege, was like, he's gonna get my fucking domain address and just put Goatsy on it. And I wanted to do it myself, so you know, that's a whole story right there. Anyways, to go back to McDonald's Hamburger, the website's dedicated to my best friend, rapper MC Donald, and his favorite food, the hamburgers. God bless. Once again, I've never been to a McDonald's, the hamburger store, so I don't know how much I believe that, okay? I'm pretty sure, like, tribes and villages in the most remote parts of the fucking world have been to McDonald's. So here he's got, like, if you want to advertise on my website, go to Arby's Pastrami, okay? The website of exposing the McDonald's conspiracy. Okay, let's go over here. Let's see what the McDonald's conspiracy is.
You know, I'm starting to think that this McDonald's doesn't really even exist. I tried to go to one of these restaurants, and as soon as I walked in, the lady behind the counter was like, hey, you're banned from here because you exposed yourself to the customers. And I was like, listen, lady, the only thing that I've been exposing myself to is the goddamn truth. And I pulled out my penis and I left.
Ooh, this video screams 2004 YouTube to me. You know, I'll tell you right now, it's a bad list to be on. There's only one list worse than the sex offender registry, and that, my friends, is the no-fly list. So again, you know, you probably don't want to be on either of those lists. Bad lists to be on. You know, and if you're going to be at a McDonald's, please don't expose your penis. You shouldn't expose your penis in general anywhere, okay? Unless it's to yourself in your own comfort in your own house. But yeah, this guy makes like the McDonald's conspiracy. He has like a whole YouTube channel with like 1,000-something subscribers. So yeah, he's Sam, comedian from Rochester, New York, living in LA. But yeah, you go over here to his like videos. Yeah, the guy was active like a whole year ago, and it's like, how long? Dude, he was uploading since like 12 years ago. Like musical tracks is crazy. It's like it's a really unknown like YouTube channel, dude. Goddamn. Sam LeBuddy. He's performing at the Glendale Room. Dude, I was in Glendale like 3 months ago, dude. What the This crazy shit. This is wild as fuck. This guy's like an actual like comedian and stuff, dude. And it's a small world. McDonald'shamburger.com. So this is like, this whole project was like 3 years ago. He like domain squatted and he just grabbed all. It's crazy stuff, dude. This is like, it's super duper unknown. He's like legally purchased McDonald's hamburger. Dude, I'd like to buy McDonald's hamburger off of him. That'd be crazy, dude. I wonder if like he's actually been hit. Like, this seems like a troll page now. Now it makes sense. You know, I feel like McDonald's, maybe they like tried offering money to him, or realistically, like, because it's a McDonald's like adjacent thing, maybe he was really hit with like the whole like legal, like maybe McDonald's legal got to him and it's like, you gotta cease and desist. And he's like, nope, I'm gonna run my meme. And, you know, God bless the power to you, buddy. Hey, you know, all the freedom to you, man. I receive calls late into the night from a man who only breathes into the receiver and does not answer any of my questions. I think this is related to McDonald's. I think McDonald's might be contacting the Hitman agency. That's a joke, by the way. Joke. This website is designed for and best viewed on a desktop. Oh, trust me, buddy. I know. A 1024 by 768 screen. I know. So he gives us a thank you. And leads you to his website. So next site over here, can't really access it. But yeah, this guy's just got like a meme page hosted on NeoCities of all places. So yeah, this guy has taken McDonald's legal by the balls. And I appreciate that, my man. I really do appreciate that. It's crazy stuff. But, you know, I will say this hamburger reminds me of LSD Dream Emulator. And I cannot wait to get that thing operating with VR. Because, I don't know, I've had LSD Dream Emulator on the mind. And every time I view one of these like old 90s websites, I just remember old PS1 games. And it's such a cozy thing to see. But, yeah. This man's taking on McDonald's legal. Bro, just take the paycheck, okay? Just take the paycheck. You do not want to deal with the Hamburglers assassins coming in, okay? They put the Nintendo Ninjas to shame, for crying out loud. If it's any company I don't want to fuck with, it's McDonald's. They got an office and branch in every country in the world. They even operate on Saturn, I'm pretty sure. It's crazy stuff. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, he has been warned. Let's go to the next site. The new African national consciousness alive. Anytime I see the Yakuza font, I am bricked up and ready to go, boys. I'm ready. Warning, the FBI tracks our visitors. Oh, shit. MIM Prisons is a cell of revolutionaries serving the oppressed masses inside U.S. prisons, guided by the communist ideology of Marxism, Leninism, and Maoism. This is the most political episode of the dank web browsing I think I've ever had. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'll be upfront with you. Okay, I don't want my comment section to turn into a turf war, okay? But yeah, this is a group of communist revolutionaries hiding in, like, U.S. prisons. So let's read this, okay? July 2024, the new African national consciousness alive. Our movement sees the contradiction between internal semi-colonies, so the new African Black Nation, First Nations, Chicanos, Puerto Ricans, and Hawaiians, and the American oppressor nation as the principal contradiction in the United States. I love how they use the dollar sign for the S. In practice, that means if we want to change, we need to push this contradiction to its conclusion. However, in the years that MIM Prisons has existed, okay, we've seen the contradiction to be at a relatively low level, historically speaking. Since we don't have things like armed struggle today to assure us of this contradiction, okay, a recent Pew study research provides us with some reassurance that the national consciousness of New Africa is alive as well. The survey showed that 74 out of 100 black people in the U.S. believe the prison system was designed to hold black people back. If asked this question for numerous state institutions with slightly lower levels of agreement, another question in the survey showed 69% of respondents feel that being black is important to how they feel about themselves. The latter question demonstrates a level of national consciousness, even if most correspondents would call it race. So again, yeah, this is like a very like left-wing organization writing about prison issues. So they even have like a DVD, so Unlock the Box, the movie. So it's a movie documenting the struggle to put an end to long-term isolations in U.S. prisons that have been waged by prisoners and activists for decades. Starting with the premise that long-term isolation is a form of torture that serves no purpose except the state's oppressive aims of societal control. So, well, you know, if you depending on like some crimes, it's like, yeah, you know, if it's like murder, right? Like obviously people spend life in prison because, you know, they've taken away somebody's life. That's how you pay, I guess, penance, right? In a way, is you give up your own life in some way. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of people that go to prison, obviously. Like if you smoke a doobie way back like 10 years ago, you might be serving a prison sentence up to now, like an insane possession charge. So yeah, there obviously are like insane sentences that probably should be reconsidered. And I think most people can kind of sit and agree on that. So yeah, this is a DVD that you can buy. And of course, it's been like played in 2009. And then all the way up to like 2018, even on Discord, dude. They've got a Discord. The Anti-Imperial Prison Support Discord, bro. So I guess if you wanted to be shown this Sunday, May the 10th, you could watch Unlock the Box with the boys on Discord. I actually wonder if some prisoners who've stashed phones in their ass cheeks have logged into Discord to also watch this. If you ever have realized it, there's like these really tiny cell phones that people like keister stash, like stick into their assholes. And then like there's actual like, it's insane. Like if you go to like YouTube, you can look at like prison cooking, prison vloggers. There's a whole network of people that vlog prison shit all day, every day on the internet. And it's kind of insane it's kind of insane stuff to watch. Do you know that torture and political repression happens daily in U.S. prisons? Yeah, I'm sure prison is no fun time. Absolutely. So again, to go into it, they've got multiple things like censorship, for instance, right? And of course, do something. So let's see what they talk about with censorship. But yeah, one of the things they talk about is like privacy. So as revolutionaries in the belly of the beast, where freedom is a myth, we must take security very seriously. If you're doing organizing work or politically sensitive research on the internet, you should be familiar with, did Hank Hill write this? Things such as what an IP address is and how to hide it. What a MAC address is, SSL, PGP, onion routers, keyloggers, as well as how to be politically anonymous in general. So, okay, fair enough. Quick start guide, political questions, prison organizing, technology law, rethink order technology, basic internet security, hitchhiker's guide. You know, these guys should watch some of my like privacy focused videos. You guys could learn a few things from there, man. But yeah, they talk about PGP encryptions. And then, of course, they talk about censorship in prison. So they got some cute clip art They've got the pig. You can read up KKK notes, but you can't read up the anarchist theories, law dictionary. Can't be learning about how to beat the system. Get the fuck out of here, boys. The source. You can't read about Jay-Z. So fight censorship in America. Prison officials in their own words. So you can browse censorship cases, rules and regulations about this. I think it's a pretty decent project, to be honest, right? Like, one of the things they kind of mention is like literal like slavery in prison on this. And that's something that's pretty real, right? Like, if you guys haven't heard about this, like there's involuntary prison labor, I think. Like let me just Google that actually just to really give you guys some real stuff to read on. US involuntary prison labor. Let me just find this one out. So literally penal labor, all right, in some cases. If you look at penal labor in the United States, for instance, there is actually money that has seriously been made through this. So if you look at something here, prison labor in the U.S. generates significant economic output. Incarcerated workers provide services valued at $9 billion annually and produce over $2 billion worth of goods. And that money just goes to like private for-profit industries. Of course, when it comes to things like penal labor, it's controversial. Critics argue that prison labor exploits incarcerated individuals and the practice prioritizes profits for corporate. It absolutely does. It's not even like a theory. Because literally inmates earn 12 to 40 cents per hour for these jobs. And you might be like, well, they get to live in prison anyways. But I mean, you're living like fucking pigs and shit. I mean, I guess that's actually heaven for pigs. But you get the idea, right? You're not living best. And you're going to pay 12 to 40 cents per hour on your job. I mean, that, regardless of how you think about it, like if there's somebody making billions of dollars off the backs of people that are charged this much, it's a little bit insane. And I guess to a point where it's like, a little bit of slavery. So again, over here it says penal labor is permitted under the 13th Amendment to the U.S., which prohibits slavery except the punishment for a crime where an individual has been convicted. The court have held that detainees awaiting trial cannot be forced to work. However, convicted criminals who are medically able to work are typically required to do so in roles such as food service, warehouse work, plumbing, painting, or as inmate orderlies. Okay, so sometimes it's keeping the prison actually functioning. And you know, the thing about it is, like, it is, you know, like, if you're forced to work, especially for, like, pennies on the dollar, like, that is some fucking level of slavery. And I guess that's what this, like, group kind of wants to go for and, like, bring up to the world. And, I mean, I think it's a worthwhile cause to talk about. I mean, you know, it's a good website. You can definitely see why they're on the dark web is because, like, obviously this would be pretty controversial to some of the people working in the for-profit prison industrial complex. And so, you know, obviously they're going to have stuff here where they discuss, maybe they have something like, you know, they'll post like actual evidence that really shows the really dark side of the prison complex. And they don't want it on the clear web, you know, giving up their identity. So I understand why they're doing it like this. And it's an active group, one that talks about a pretty serious topic. And if you're interested in this, definitely check these guys out. But yeah, I'm not going to get too far into this. I'm getting too into the weeds of a topic that can be its own separate dedicated video. That said, let's go somewhere else. The Harinama Ground Year 1003 AD. Deities volunteer the Messiah Show. Oracle. It is for, you know, dude, I think my brain is broken. This week, my brain is now slaughtered on deep web browsing, okay? Whatever number right now. My brain is cooked. I'm mush. This is paradise. The planet is New Earth. All the newspapers are empty. Planet Boomtown. So here's Teener Girl is for sale. 250 euros. Buy now. Oh my God. I have actually been blown away here real quick. So this is very similar to something known as Teener Take. Now, for anybody that doesn't know Teener Take over here, this is like a website that isn't active anymore, thankfully. It's actually one topic that I wanted to talk about, and I might actually discuss it, considering this just sparked up really fucking weird memories. So for anybody that doesn't know anything about this, on Internet Mysteries like 3 years ago, there was this one post called Weird YouTube Ad Called Teener Take. And the ad right here, this is one user posting it, right? So if you look at the ad, this is like old guy, and he's just like just showcasing this like one page where it literally is talking about like, you know, just Teener Take over here about, it's like this old school looking like message board, that's primarily targeted towards teenagers. So it's like, hey, here's Lisa, female, born January 1st, 1997, lives in Tucson. And of course, you know, there's just people posting about it. And again, this is an ad that somebody had shown on YouTube. So if you look very carefully, right, like where my mouse is, it's kind of hard to tell with like everything. You can see the skip ad, or skip ads. And that's like, you know, I guess allegedly supposed to be on YouTube. And it was something that people had talked about. And it's just, it's weird, right? Because the more and more you kind of look into it, right? One account actually talks about it pretty well here. The choice of images on the side are very sus indeed, and most of the questions seem fairly normal, right? But then there's like a section where classmates are asking who's hot, which is a red flag if I ever saw one. This probably wouldn't fly in a yearbook these days, let alone on a site that ostensibly claims to be for rating teachers. Whew. So, anyways, you go down over here, you can form groups of mutual persons of interest, post pictures and profiles, and communicate through private notes and blanket updates for all your persons of interests. So this is somebody who like did an investigation, they used a backup email, and so far it's weird, but nothing outwardly amiss. The 16 plus no fun zone consists of a long ramble about the US trade deficit and a sidebar with links to various songs. I have not tried the other profile features yet, but there's some screenshots of no fun zone. So if you actually like open up one of the images, you can literally read right over here where it's like, the no fun zone is where various topics of discussions and questions are brought up by Teen or Take. So again, it's a website targeting like teenagers, and they're talking about like US like trade deficits and shit. Yeah, it's like, why would somebody need to know? Why would kids, I mean, I guess it's part of the no fun zone. There's no fun to be learned about this, okay? No kid is interested. But then you go down over here, turns out there's a small Teen or Take sub for people already looking into it. And the reason why I never really covered into it as well too is that like the person was doxxed, and it was just one of those things where like I didn't research the topic as crazy. It was just creepy. It was just really creepy shit. And so I didn't jump into it, but now that it's basically been an inactive website for over a year at this point, it might be a topic worth going down into. So I just asked, like, do you want to look at Teen or Take now that it's been gone? And I guess it's kind of safe to touch the topic, just because there doesn't seem to be anything of activity anymore. But let's get back to the Harirama, okay? That's a separate topic. A side tangent, let's get away. All other domains may be for sale, just one. If you find one you like, mainly on this page if owned by Mark Matson, $100 USD minimum. So anyways, you go down over here, there's other URLs like Time Band, okay, $100. Nothing holding legally until you actually buy the domain. So then you go down over here and they go into the Ferryman. So let me see what the Ferryman is. The Ferryman is a long page. Holy shit. So you can pay them in full. Mark is married to the manifest reality. He is your husband. He is half the owner of the world by default. Oh, what am I reading? So they got a donation page link to PayPal, which seems to be very active. Very, very active. And of course, they've got the year 1004 AD. And this is 1004, okay? The planet is paradise, new Earth. The quantum race was quantum leaped here 17 linear year ago. 2,400 years old, temple map. So they've got a map that one can read, which is, okay, Charon. That is the underworld ferryman, okay? It's not a space wizard. So the planet is paradise. You can turn to stone here. Immunity. So ferryman literature links, and then you got the emergency bulk payments. So I guess we'll open them all. World balance sheets right here. And of course, if you check out the bulk payment, so immunize the whole planet in one payment. If we go to the scenario of people publicly turning to stone all over the world, a la Rocky Horror Show, Rocky Horror Show, King of Thorn, okay, then one complete payment may just work, based on the principle that the coins do not to be part of the state. In Greek culture, friends, relatives, and benefactors usually provided the coins. As the elixir gradually kicks in and flows go hyperstate, after war has been replaced by global charity, and the ships carrying food keep right on going. Global prosperity goes through the roof, and so on and so forth. So they've got electronic payments, which we'll just block that out because I think it leads to somebody's address. But if we go to the actual ferryman's website, you can see you got some art, okay? We are inside the Great Seal. The Great Seal is 250 line, the Buddhist 108 line, as some known as a quarter universe octave. I mean, you can just type whatever. It's not like I can, I can say anything about it, dude. The ferryman delivers people to the afterlife, aka paradise. Oh, it's like Heaven's Gate. Ooh, drink the Kool-Aid. Ooh. Okay, dude. We as Psychopomp have delivered you, the human race, to 6 dimensions with a previous reality that old fireball called Earth. Via quantum What? Astrometrics? What the fuck? As astrometrics slider, the reason that we're here in the afterlife, even Earth and time, is if we stayed, all have the elixir of life kick in at some point. This is a wildly infinite hydrodynamic energy set system paradigm. So it's an elixir, and then of course you go down. Oh my god. Did I come? It's like a weirdness. Oh, okay. Something sticky. Okay, anyway, let's get back to it. Table of Abundance. What the fuck is this, dude? Okay. That's a photo from Flickr, bro. What is this? Go straight to Castle and Mercedes-Benz. Okay, let's go to the Mercedes-Benz, I guess. So you've got all public domain royalty free. Oh, so you got photos and shit? Self-generating artworks can literally give you prosperity. Is this AI art? Oh my god. Opry.com. Oh my god. It's just random art. It's just slop. This is crazy. They got a fine arts page? What? No way, dude. This guy's got a whole art page you can go to. Dude, you know what I should do for deep web browsing? I should buy a piece I should buy something off the dark web. I don't know, John Wayne Gacy's dildo, this, and just store it all around. If we're gonna get to episode 300, my room's gotta be covered in literal hell. This is crazy shit. I feel crazy reading this, man. My brain is legit broken this episode. This might be the most broken episode I've ever seen. So the more you go down into it, it is okay to connect, pick up, sell the art first, then tip 1 USD later. So this is insane. Abundant energy. Okay, so energy and the Garden of Eden. Okay, so let's see energy. So geothermal abundant electricity developed in the USA. So you dig a hole, install 2 pipes, water in, steam out. That's about it. This would supply steam for the turbines and all the existing coal, gas, and nuclear plants. We only need steam 100 degrees near the crust, very little effect on the molten core. You know, I believe in geothermal energy. I just don't know how to get it from my fucking house. But interesting stuff. And then you go down over here. It's got abundant hydrogen, oxygen. In short, we're putting the cars on rock. No, dude, bro. Okay. If you don't know anything about cars, do not modify their combustion engines, okay? Doing so may seriously injure you and the people around you. Quite literally, don't do that. With abundant electricity, we can make all the hydrogen and oxygen fuel we need from the sea. In liquid form, liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen, much like LPG, this would power any non-electric cars, trucks, ships, and planes. Buddy, you got to go against Big Oil. And Big Oil ain't going to let you do it. They'll hire a hitman to kill you. They're even worse than McDonald's and Nintendo and the Red Cross. Abundant electricity would power all the desalination plants we need. Okay, so they just got different... They've got cures for everything. Abundant food. We currently grow food for 10 billion people. Is that actually true? Check. Can we confirm that? 1.4 billion hectares of arable land would support about... Okay, so we can grow that, but we don't. Okay, so anyways. Current population is 7.3 billion. Okay. Overuse of animal farming in the West. America has been feeding 70% of its grain population to animal farming. Yeah, I mean, listen. I think the factory farming industry is wrong. Okay, they treat animals like Factorio. All right, not good. But this is kind of a. The thing about this stuff is the fixes they're providing. I don't know if it's as simple to put them into practice, but yeah, it's wild shit. It is brain-breaking stuff. Okay, so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna leave it right over here. Okay, we're already reaching well over an hour into this recording. It's insane stuff. But yeah, I will say, this is one of those things where I appreciate the older side of the internet before this new dead internet theory takes over. Because, like, this is like an era of the internet where, like, literally, dude, you just come across the wildest shit all the time. And the best part about this is, like, this is before, like, the days of, like, ChatGPT coming up with this, because this is literally a human being putting this together, this level of schizophrenia, and just posting it into, like, an obscure corner of the internet that finally gets viewed by people, all right? Like, on deep web browsing, or really by anybody else. It's crazy stuff being an internet explorer in the modern age. You come across weird shit like this. But you know what? My brain is turning into mush, so I think I need to make myself a new pot of coffee and come back. And ladies and gentlemen, that is another episode of Dank Web Browsing, Deep Web Browsing, Dark Web Browsing. My brain is, you start to read stuff about the cannibalism being okay, scam hitman sites, okay, the Hari Rama, all right, prison industrial complexes. And you know what? If every single episode of the Dank Web was this awesome every single week, bro, I would go all the way up to episode 1 million. Because this might be the only episode that has really broken my brain to this point. But ladies and gentlemen, that was another episode of the Deep Web Browsing series. And if you enjoyed today's episode, let me know in the comment section below. Obviously, I want to kind of make it to 300. I would like to see this be a staple, but, websites just have to be as interesting as they are today. So there's probably going to be a lot more, like, maybe we might touch the I2P relay, we might touch, like, other networks, or we might intermingle from, like, other aspects of the internet into this. But yeah, deep web browsing, fun stuff. Fun websites. I actually did learn a fair bit today. I just hope to God the comment section is not a total fucking war zone with how political this episode has gotten. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Just like it or dislike it, I am out.